Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school, children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today. Today we will be doing a lesson in standard 8th English, and it is a very interesting lesson, children. It's a beautiful story also, and the name of the lesson is Revathi's Musical Plants. Now you all know that it has been proved by various scientists also that plants also have emotions. Okay, if you talk to your plants like you talk to your animals or like you talk to your children, plants also tend to respond to us in a positive way. And if you talk to plants and if you take care of them lovingly, it is also found that these plants grow also in a better way. Okay, so now this story about Revathi's musical plants is about the relationship between this girl called Revathi and the plants in her garden. So there was this beautiful young girl called Revathi who was very interested in playing the violin and many other musical instruments. Now this particular girl, she used to always play the violin, and she used to see that the plants around her used to be feeling very happy. Now one day when she was similarly playing the violin in this manner, she happened to see that there was a plant or a potted balsam plant as you call it near a wall, and it was not in a very healthy condition. Okay, this balsam plant, it was not looking very healthy. See, look at this plant on the screen for you. So this plant is not a very healthy one. The leaves are withered and the flowers are drooping down. Okay, so she found that this plant doesn't look very nice. So what she thought was, maybe it is in the corner of the garden and maybe it is not getting enough sunlight. That is the reason Revathi decided to pick up this plant and put it among the other plants in her garden. So she transported this particular balsam plant towards a place in the middle of her garden along with the other potted plants. And here, after a few days, she noticed that this plant was becoming really healthy and it was growing well also, just like the other plants around it. So she also got another idea. She said, come on, now let me take part in the healthy plant competition which will be held in my school. So she was very happy. She said, I will take one of these potted plants and I will go and I will participate in the healthy plant competition at my school. Now, she used to practice playing the violin every day in the middle of these plants, and then she noticed a very strange and wonderful thing. She noticed that when she played a particular raga, all the plants would start swaying and dancing, even though there would be no wind. Okay, so there would be no breeze at all, but the plants would start swaying, the plants would start dancing. Alright, so she realized that the music that she plays has got particular effect and positive effect on her plants. So she was very happy, and she also started getting the feeling that when she plays the music, what happens is the plants start bending towards her. Okay, they start coming towards her. That was what she started feeling. Anyways, she was very happy and she was very excited at the same time that she would take the plant which is the best plant in her garden and she would participate in the healthy plant competition or the best plant competition. Okay, so days passed and the plants were growing healthy, but she realized one fine day that someone had stolen her plant from her garden. Okay, one day she went into the garden and she was shocked to see that the very healthy balsam plant which was there in the middle of all the other plants, it was missing. So Revathi was very sad and she was very worried. Okay, she started wondering as to who had taken away her plant from her. Alright, so now she started looking for her plant everywhere, but she was not able to find it. And then the day came when she was supposed to participate in the best plant or the healthy plant competition. When she went there, she was surprised to find her balsam plant there in the middle of the other plants. So someone had stolen her plant and they had taken it into in the competition as their own plant. Revathi started arguing and she started saying that no, this plant is mine and I can prove it that it is mine. She said, when I start playing a particular, you can say raga or the raga called Mohanam, all my plants, they start moving towards me. Now the people who were there present in that particular park, they all started making fun of her. Okay, they started ridiculing her and they started saying, how can plants respond to you? But then Revathi was not worried about their ridicule. She sat down and she started playing the Mohanam raga on her violin. And as soon as she started playing the raga, she saw that her plant started coming towards her. So you can see here, this is an image from the textbook. So the plant which was hers, when she started playing the Mohanam raga, that plant started coming towards her. And that is how she proved that this particular plant, it is mine. Okay, it responds to my music and therefore she called it as a musical plant. So that is why the name of the story is Revathi's Musical Plants. Alright, so that was a story for you children. Now let us look at some grammar points in the lesson. So now in this particular lesson here, we have the grammar point of transformation of sentences. That is, we are trying to see how you can change the nature of a sentence. When you transform a sentence, you change it. So under transformation of sentences, we are going to look at affirmative and negative sentences. Affirmative sentences means positive sentences and negative sentences mean sentences which are having a negative word in it. Alright, so this will be our grammar point for today. So let us go ahead and let us study some important points as far as transformation of sentences, affirmative to negative and negative to affirmative are concerned. But before that, we will have to try and see what is the meaning of affirmative sentences. So let us try see what is the meaning of an affirmative sentence. So what is an affirmative sentence, children? It is a sentence which uses the positive form of the verb. Okay, so a sentence in which the positive form of the verb is used is an affirmative sentence. Okay, see, how can you explain it further? What are positive forms of verbs or what are positive words? Positive words are words which convey positive meanings. Alright, so in short you could say that an affirmative sentence conveys some kind of positive meaning. Alright, for example, see, he is jumping, they are going to the store, I'm making cookies. So you will see that these are all positive sentences. They contain positive words and they convey positive meanings. That is the reason we call them as affirmative sentences. Okay? And the most important point to remember when you look at an affirmative sentence is that affirmative sentences do not contain a negative word. Alright, so let us try and understand something more about these affirmative sentences now. So affirmative sentences indicate a positive sense or meaning. So when you want to say something positive, when you want to convey something positive, that time you make use of an affirmative sentence. Alright, see, it is the opposite of negative sentences. So affirmative sentences and negative sentences, these are two exactly opposite ideas. So once you understand the meaning of what are affirmative sentences well, it will be very simple for you to understand the meaning of negative sentences. Okay, so pay very good attention when I'm teaching you what are affirmative sentences. Now let's come to what are negative sentences. Okay, so negative sentence means a sentence which contains negative words. Alright, now what are negative words? Negative words are words that contain or convey negative meaning. Alright, just like affirmative sentence had got affirmative words or positive words and the meaning was positive, in the same way a negative sentence means it contains negative words and the meaning which is conveyed is also negative. You will see the various examples of negative words which could be used in a negative sentence. So let us look at the various examples of negative words. So never, no, neither, not, nor, cannot, isn't, don't. Okay, and there are many more examples also of negative words, but these are the common negative words which we find. And whenever we find these words in a sentence, you can very safely say that the sentence is a negative sentence. Alright, now hope the idea of what are negative sentences and what are positive sentences is very clear to you. Let us look at some example sentences here, and these are all examples from your textbook, children. Let us try and find out which of the sentences are affirmative and which of them are not affirmative. So in the first example, we must avoid hurting others. So what do you think? Is this sentence negative or is it affirmative? It is an affirmative sentence. There is nothing like the use of the word no or nor or never or neither in this. So it is an affirmative sentence. We must, they are saying. So it is a positive idea which has been conveyed. Look at the next example. She didn't offer me help. So didn't, you're saying did not. Alright. So the very use of the word not here suggests that it is a negative sentence. Never give up hopes. It is very clear to you. The word never is used, so it has to be a negative sentence. You must keep away from bad company. Here there is nothing negative, so it is affirmative. You must, they are saying. If they had said that you mustn't keep bad company, then it would have become negative. There is nothing in the bag. Now I think the idea has become easier for you. So when the word nothing is used, it is a negative sentence. Entry is prohibited without permission. Here now again it is a affirmative sentence. Okay, so these are the various, let's come back here children quickly. When you say entry is prohibited, till here we can say it is an affirmative sentence, but when we add without permission, the second part of the sentence, it could become negative. Okay, so this is an example of a statement which you can say is half of the statement is positive and the remaining half is negative. Now this is an example in your book, so I have taken this example to teach you. Otherwise normally we would never take such an example. Now the main point in our lesson is how you interchange, how you make change from positive to negative. So let us look at a few examples quickly. So when you're interchanging from positive to negative, the meaning should never change. Alright, the meaning of these kind of sentences should never change. The meaning should remain the same. Tense also should not change. Okay, and you will see that there must be use of negative words. When you're changing this sentence from a positive sentence to a negative sentence, you shouldn't be changing the meaning, you shouldn't be changing the tense, but you should make use of one negative word.
So children, now that we know what affirmative sentences are and we know what negative sentences are, and we also talked about the rules for interchanging these sentences, that is how to convert a positive sentence into a negative sentence and vice versa. So we know the rules also. So come on, let us do a little bit of practice now. So what will we do now? We will try to solve some examples and we will try and see how we can change the sentences from positive to negative. and then we will also do some exercises which are there in the textbook. Okay, so till here children, this is part of your warming up exercise, but some of the exercises in this particular part of the lesson is part of the English workshop part. Okay, so come on, first we will start with understanding and looking at examples where they have already changed a positive sentence into a negative sentence, and then we will try and do some on our own. Alright, so can we start? Let's look at some examples where they have interchanged, that is, they have converted a sentence from affirmative to negative. So the first example is there on the screen for you. Affirmative sentence is, in the first example, I was doubtful whether it was you. So see here, you cannot see any particular word which is negative. That is, you cannot see a word which is no, you cannot see a word which is not. Alright, so this is a positive sentence. It is an affirmative sentence. There is no never, there is no neither, there is no nor, there is no cannot, there is no isn't, nothing. So it is a affirmative sentence. Now you want to change this sentence. You want to make it into a negative sentence. But remember, when you are changing the sentence from an affirmative sentence to a negative sentence, we are not at all going to change the meaning of the sentence. We are going to keep the meaning of the sentence the same. We will only change the structure of the sentence. Okay, so I was doubtful whether it was you. When you write it as a negative sentence, what will you do? See, you will say, I was not sure that it was you. So not sure and doubtful have the same meaning. So have you changed the meaning of the sentence? Look carefully. No, we have not changed the meaning of the sentence. So remember, when you change a sentence from the affirmative to the negative, we will not change the meaning of the sentence. And also we will not change the tense of the sentence as well. But we will only make use of a negative words. So instead of writing doubtful, we wrote not sure, which is a negative word. Let us take a look at some more examples so you will be understanding it better. So in example 2, we have the affirmative sentence, everybody was present. See, there is no word which is saying not or neither or no or nor. So everybody was present. How did I make it negative? I made this everybody into nobody. But at the same time, I changed the present to absent. So the meaning at the end of the day remains the same. Everybody was present, nobody was absent. Okay, meaning is the same. Let us take a look at one more example. Affirmative is all cheered. All cheered means everyone who was there in that particular room was very happy and they cheered. They said hurrah. They said hip hip hooray. Okay, so all of them cheered. How did I make it negative? See, I said there was no one present who did not cheer. So I said no one present. There was not a single person in the room who did not cheer. So I hope the idea of how you interchange an affirmative sentence into a negative sentence is clear to you. So remember, whenever you change a sentence from the negative to the affirmative, you can make use of opposite words like this. So everybody became nobody. Okay, sometimes you can also make use of synonyms. So doubtful and not sure are synonyms. They have the same meaning. So see, you can change it in so many different ways. But what is most important for us to remember, that we do not change the meaning and the tense of the sentence. That was all now, children, as far as solved examples are concerned. Now I told you a few of these exercises are in the English workshop part. So that is why we will try we will not be able to go in sequence because we are going to follow the idea. Okay, so here we go directly to exercise 6 from your English textbook. So if you have your English textbook with you, children, you can open it and you can come to exercise 6 on page number 22. Here they have asked us to make the following negative using the negative words given. So the sentences are given to you and they are all positive sentences. You have to convert these positive sentences into negative sentences using negative words, but at the cost of not changing the meaning. Remember, what is the only condition? That you will not change the meaning. So there were a few potted plants in the courtyard. This is the sentence. It is a positive sentence. There were a few. What are you supposed to do? You are supposed to use the word not many. That means you are supposed to use the word not, the negative word not, and you are supposed to change this sentence into a negative sentence. So let us see how we do it. So you can write, there are not many potted plants in the courtyard. So what have you done? You have changed few to not many. So you can see here, few and not many have similar meanings. Okay, look at the next example. They looked healthier than the other plants. And you have to change this into a negative sentence by using the words not as healthy as. So come on, how will you do it? You will write, the other plants did not look as healthy as these plants. So when you look at degrees of comparison, instead of writing healthier, you can also write as healthy as, not as healthy as. Okay, so that is why, see how we have done it. You have changed it. You have changed healthier into not as healthy as. Third example, she refused to share her secret. You have to rewrite this using the words would not. Very simple. She would not share her secret. So children, remember, I keep telling you this often, I know, but remember, even then, when such questions come up, what will you do? Yes, you will pause the video and try to find out the answers yourself. Okay, very good, children. So what have you changed here? You have replaced the refused with would not. In the last example, she went around asking everyone about her plants. So you have to either use no one, or you have to use did not. Okay, or you have to use both. Let us see how we'll do it. So the answer is, she spared no one in asking about her plants. You can also write, she did not spare anyone in asking about her plants. So both of them would be right. So you can either use no one, or you can write did not. She spared no one, or she did not spare anyone. Okay, children, so this is how you made negative sentences into a positive sentence, into a negative sentence, using the words that they gave you. You can also try and write it in your own way. Okay, here, because they have asked us to use the words which are given, you have transformed it in this manner. Now let us go to the next exercise, that is exercise 7, where we will look at the opposite of what we did now. So there are negative sentences and we are going to make them affirmative. We are going to change them into positive sentences. So look at the first one. There was no breeze. So you have the word no here, which is making the sentence negative. So we do not want this no here. If you have to write an affirmative sentence, then you should not have the no there. So let us replace the no with hardly. Okay, and let us see what we will write. So we will write, there was hardly any breeze. That means there was no breeze. Okay, so I hope you're pausing the video and you're writing the answers yourself. So talking about writing answers yourself, towards the end of the video I will be explaining certain tasks to you that you have to do after you finish watching the video. So there are very interesting questions also which you will have to answer, and there is a Google form also that you will have to fill. I will explain more about it towards the end of the video. Okay, so let us continue and let us try to make these negative sentences into affirmative sentences. Look at example number 2. Their ridicule did not deter her. So you have to remove the word not from here. You do not want not there. So what will you write? You will write their ridicule failed to deter her. Failed to. So it did not deter her. We made it failed to deter her. The next one, her mother knew nothing about it. Okay, so this nothing has to disappear from here in case we want to make this an affirmative sentence. So we will use denied and see how we'll write it. Her mother denied knowing anything about it. Next one, she did not give up. So the not has to be replaced with the refused to. Very simple, isn't it? She refused to give up. So you see, all the negative sentences we made them positive. There was hardly any breeze. Their ridicule failed to deter her. Her mother denied knowing anything about it. She refused to give up. So this is how you change a sentence from positive to negative. So what do? I told you, sometimes what we do is we try to make use of opposite words also. So in case you want to change a sentence from positive to negative, you sometimes make use of opposite words. Okay. Now let us look at one particular way in which you can make opposite words. So this is exercise 3B now, children, from your textbook. Like I told you, we are not doing it in a sequence because we are trying to complete one particular idea. So here we have how you can add a prefix in order to make opposite words. And why are we doing this? Because sometimes we can make use of this idea also in order to change a sentence from positive to negative. Okay, for example, see the first one, continue. So you can say discontinue is the opposite word. So you added dis, dis, to make the opposite word. So suppose there is a statement which goes, she did not continue. This is a negative sentence, isn't it? How can you make it positive? You can simply write she discontinued. So you see how we added a prefix to make an opposite word, and then how we used that opposite word in order to make the sentence from positive to negative or vice versa. Let us look at all the other examples also. Come on, pause the video and try to find out the answers. So definite becomes indefinite, possible becomes impossible, believe becomes disbelieve, known becomes unknown, certain will become uncertain, and regular will become irregular. So see, we used the prefixes dis, dis, in, im, im, un, ir, to make the opposite words. Okay, children, so this was about opposite ideas, that is, opposite words are opposite ideas, and affirmative and negative sentences are also opposite ideas. So in this lesson so far, children, we talked about the story of the lesson, and also we looked at this major grammar point which was there in your warming up part. That is, we looked at affirmative and negative sentences, and we also talked about certain rules which we use in order to change these sentences from one type to another. We looked at some examples which we tried to look at, some beautiful examples where we tried to change the sentences, and also we did some exercises from the textbook. Now there is another very important part of grammar in this lesson, that is, we have to talk about types of sentences, but then we will be doing it at a later time. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learned a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.